Dear viewers, good morning and welcome to this Mind My Mind talk show. Today, we have Ms. Kamin Bedi, who has been a practicing counseling psychologist, a child psychologist, a life coach, and a lot more, as well as a special educator and an educator over the last 17 plus years. So welcome, Ms. Kamin Bedi. Thank you for sparing a few minutes of your time on this cold Friday morning.
So thank you, Gurrit. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. So dear viewers, one hears that 88% people suffer anxiety or stress. This has come up in a very recent survey done specifically for India. And as we all look around, I think this is very much visible in our daily lives. So today, we will talk with Ms. Kamin Bedi on how to manage the daily stressors of life. Each one of us faces some stress or the other daily. I'll give you examples. So like I find it waking up on a cold Sunday morning, a stress, especially when you have to go for a workout. Driving, especially if you're living in a large city and you have to drive out for work or to drop your kids to school or anywhere for that matter on a busy street, because especially if you are in big cities, you are bound to get caught up in traffic. Your health, a pain, a joint pain, or any other pain and ache is also a big stressor, especially post-COVID, since we all have become a little more health conscious because of that. So let's talk to Ms. Kamin Bedi about how do we manage these daily stressors. Thank you, Kamin. So over to you.
Hi. So what is stress? It's something that we hear, a word we hear everybody talking about. I'm stressed, I have anxiety, I'm stressed. But what is stress? Do we know what is stress? If I go technically, so we have a brain. A brain is a brain and a mind. So in the brain, we have something called gray matter, white matter. We keep discussing these words, which is full of neurons, nerve cells. Now, what happens is they are depleting when we talk about something a little too much. And that further gives us a little, uneasiness, and we get worried about it. But is that the only alibi we are going to give for having stress? No. I'm going to tell you some very basic ways in which we can handle stress. We all have stress at all ages, whether it's a child, he has his own stresses. A person going to work has his own stresses. An elderly person has his own stresses. But on a broad spectrum, what we can do is we can handle it on our own. We hear a lot of people saying, okay, take a deep breath. Fine. Deep breath. How many deep breaths can you keep taking? Stresses will still come and go. What I feel really works well is the minute you feel you are stressed, the minute you feel you have an issue, just sit down. Sit down with a pen and a paper. Calm down. Write down your stresses, or in your mind or on your notepad on your phones today. Write down your stresses. Half the problem is solved, because when you write down, you realize that they were not stresses at all. They were not problems at all. It was just in your mind because of lack of time, because of lack of planning, because of a routine which was not being followed. Once you've written down what your stresses are, just mull over the important ones or the ones which you feel need concern. Look at them. You will realize that out of, say, 10 stresses that you have figured out, 6 to 7 stresses would be related to time management, to a routine, and to planning. So why do we let that happen? We need to follow a routine. I deal with a lot of children, and I keep telling them, a lot of them come up and say, why do we have school? Why do we have periods? Why do we have to follow a uniform? Why do we have to follow a discipline? The point is that we do need it at some point of time. So maximum stresses that I see people have are because of that. So my request to everybody is follow a routine. Plan yourself. I'm not saying be rigid or be structured with your planning. Plan your move, plan your project, whatever it might be. There'll be ups and downs. There will be changes, but make a broad spectrum. And something which we all face, and in India we face it the maximum, is time management. Our time management skills are just in time format. No. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes extra. Buck yourself up. Move ahead. Move a little faster. That really works. Another thing that I've really seen that helps you to manage and cope your stress is music. Going for an outdoor hot water bath.
A hot water bath. Wow.
Yes, yes. So what happens is, starting with, suppose I'm really stressed, tired. I've had a very busy physically and a mentally day, and I'm stressed about the next day. Go put on your geyser, stand under the shower, or take a hot head to toe. It just calms your nerves. And for 10 minutes, don't think about anything. It just calms you very well. However tired you might be, however exhausted you might be, get out of the house. Go for a 10-minute brisk walk, or go for a quick jog if you can. Even if you're breathless, you'll suddenly feel better. Your whole heart rate, your body, your hormones, you'll see they suddenly change. And you get energized, and then you start thinking clearly. It's not that the stress has run away. It's not a bug that will just get out of your system. No, it's just that you start thinking in a practical manner, in a systematic manner. So it really works. Music. Put on music and dance. Let the other person think you are a fool in the room. But it doesn't matter.
So, Kamin, I very often find it very stressful to drive to work, especially because that's a peak hour. So what can I do when I'm driving and I'm in the car and you're in a traffic jam, you're pushed for time because you're looking constantly, wondering, you need to get to work on time. There are people honking. What do you do in those situations in a car?
Something that really works well is catch up on your talking and interacting with people on the phone. But that's not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. And if the cop catches you, there you are. You go through a challan. So the best option in the car is, one, if you are driving yourself, listen to music.
Okay.
Make an album on your phone or in your pen drive, which is music which gives you calmness, happiness. For some, it could be sad music. For some, it could be peppy music. It could be anything. Number one. Number two, again, it's a little distractive, but keep a book in the car. And thanks to Google Baba, we know.
Flip through.
Maybe not. Maybe you don't need to keep a book which has got, it's a story book or something. Something which just gives you a little bit of, those mind books which just give you a quote.
Yes.
You read that quote and you dwell over it. You think about it. So these are a few things you can do. You have to be mindful while you're driving. So I cannot ask you to distract yourself too much. But these are a few things which you can do. Of course, again, leave on time. We assume and presume our time. It happened with me. I had to catch a flight at 8:30. My father threw me out of the home at 5 o'clock. I argued with him. I fought with him. When I reached the airport, I realized the crowd that was there at T3 in Delhi. And I realized, and I thanked my father to say that, thank you. By sleeping an hour extra, I would have been so stressed, where I saw people running with their suitcases, fighting with the guards, fighting with the co-passengers to move out jump the line and reach. Whereas I was standing peacefully and waiting for my turn because I had the time.
So
these are a few things.
Building a routine avoids self-induced stress.
It really works, I'm telling you.
So there are different types of stressors come in where, there are stressors which are emotional, there are stressors which are financial, and of course, there are various other things. How does one segregate those? One, you said writing down, taking a hot bath, those are, situational that you manage it. But can we create a routine, or can we do things to be able to recognize?
Yes.
Like, for example, financial stress is difficult to go away. If somebody is short on finances, or losing a job, or anything, you have a big expense coming up, those are difficult to kind of ward off. But there are others who can actually ward it off. So how do we differentiate between these?
So Yeah. So coming to that, Gurrit, like financial stress also. Again, yes, we all have financial stresses and it can really stress you down. I go down to the basic. Who has raised the bars in your financial expenditures and capabilities? We ourselves. Uh, we have people in our country who are surviving in 5,000 bucks a month. Their children are also eating. Their children are also surviving. We have people who are surviving at 50 lakhs a month. So financial stress again is self-induced somewhere, I feel. We raise our bar, our standard to such a point, maybe in competition with the world, maybe in the pressures from the people around us, consumer pressure, society pressure, family pressure, whatever. But we are the ones who need to level it out.
Right.
Everybody cannot be a Tata Birla, and everybody cannot be traveling in first classes and think. Live according to your life. Live according to what you are comfortable with. As long as the stress comes in when you push yourself against your basic true nature. And when do you push yourself against your basic true situation or nature? Is when you're competing with someone. Why are you competing with someone? Compete with yourself. Grow in your life. Grow in your chart, not in the other's chart. The minute you keep this in mind, the stress will run away. That's where some people say, I'm content. It's not that that person has millions and that person is content. That person is comfortable in his own shoes, in his own arena. You see a lot of stress in an example, because I do deal with a lot of children, is 17 and a half years, the kids who are moving to college, the kids who are moving, who are in 11th, 12th. Man, I have stress. I didn't sleep. I can't eat. So a lot of stress disorders are like you don't eat, or you overeat, or you're aggressive, or you get angry. These are situations. And what happened? I was stressed. Why were you stressed? Oh, I don't know whether I'll get admission in this college or not. For whether you will get admission in this college or not, you're not studying now. Your score will go down. There comes the stress, and there you mess it up. So nothing is
Again,
worked out.
back to
Again,
routine.
your level could be
Discipline.
your level, exactly. I'm just giving you an example because a lot of kids have this issue. Stress,
Very
you see a
relevant.
lot of children having stress of peer pressure. Peer pressure stress. Oh, my friends go for night outs and parties. I am not allowed. That's a stress in their life. Hello, that's your family culture, your family thing. Accept it. I will not allow my child. If that child is going, let that child go. So, these are minor things. We can say whatever. Anybody can say whatever. We can talk about any theory. We come down to basic brass tacks, which is routine, time management, and living in your own shoes, being yourself, competing with
All in the
yourself,
mind.
loving yourself. It's all in the mind.
Awesome.
It's all in the mind. So you
Thank
just
you.
need to handle that yourself.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Guru. The topics are always so interesting.
Thank you so much, and we shall be back soon with you on another topic. Thank you, viewers. Please do like and
absolutely
go ahead if you like our talks. Thank you very much, and do subscribe to our channel.